I'm going 1.4 miles an hour. It's either the beans are good or this thing's a piece of junk. But no, my potentiometer on my bottom sieve got cut, and then the bottom grates went, and they shut. And all of a sudden, my monitor went, and then my jammed up my tailings elevator. I'm like, what in the hell is going on?
I've got a gut feeling this is going to be a good year. The farmer is the eternal optimist.
We farm together as a family. If we all put our heads together, I don't know what we couldn't achieve.
Hopefully we hit 90 bushel. I think we could do it. Just have healthy plants and a good return on investment.
One of the worst things about farming is making a decision on planting depth. A quarter of an inch on your depth, sometimes you won't get a stand.
As you can see, my pinky ring's empty, so obviously I didn't win. With this class of guys that's in Podfathers, I mean, anyone could win.
So here's what happened. So Dad planted this as an irrigated field, obviously. We field cultivated it. Things that we found out in the past that really works well. Phosphorus in starters work really well for soybeans. Problem is more phosphorus, more growth, more energy. How are you going to control it? When you go back to thinking about that, we have had trouble with being able to hold it back, especially in an irrigated situation. You can hold it back more if you don't turn your irrigation on at certain points. Like through its early stages in life, we starve it to death of water. So what we'll do is if we come in and we feel like they're growing too fast, we burn them back. As soon as we burn them back, I run the irrigation on it real quick, like at 1/10 2/10, just to wash some of that burn off a little bit, try to alleviate it, get it back going again. As soon as I think it's going again, micros. So I'll come across the trip with micros. Depending on what stage it is, I might change my micro pack, or might add something to it. So we'll get through that. And then once we get through that, I try to control how much water we put on and try not to let it get, keep getting taller. Well, Dad loves his irrigation. So what happens is Dad keeps, man, you sure we don't need to turn the irrigation on? Sure. And I'm like, don't turn it on, don't turn it on, don't turn it on. And then I come over to his farm one morning, it's like, and I'm like, what are you doing? He was like, man, they look like they was dry. He's like, they look like they was dry. So now I got this huge tall plant, and they are laying over some, so I am losing, some yield because they're laying over. Because as soon as they start going over, it shades out the bottom of the plant, they give up, and then it's all over. Right. We had a couple real hard windstorms that really busted me up pretty bad, and if those things flat. So I mean, if you look through some of these flat spots out here, like the beans that are coming up through them look tremendous, but if you went back in there and you peeled them apart, a lot of them beans underneath there, they gave it up. And then over to my house, I put that plot in over there, and it was specifically just for the Podfather, so I could go out there and play with it and tinker, see what I could figure out. Here's where some shit went wrong back at the beginning. So when I laid out where I wanted to plot at, I wanted about 10 acres right behind my house that I could play with. And when I sent the crew over there to go put anhydrous on, strip till the farm, which was 100% in corn, they went right across it.
Sure they did.
They went, but they didn't know, and it was my fault.
I get it, but
and then it got worked up. I didn't even know we put anhydrous on it. I had no idea that there was anhydrous on that sucker, but there was anhydrous on there, and I'm like,
what's going on with these beans?
Shit. So these beans are like getting out of control, and the stems are like that big around, like big as corn plants. I'm like, what is going on with these things? So I had a couple different people come and look at them when they were early on, and they were going nuts.
Gotcha.
So I was trying to control them and couldn't get them under control. And I'm like, I do not have this much fertility here. And then Dad was like, well, you don't have to put anhydrous on that. I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, all right, that's why. So having said that, I called a couple guys, Joe Smitlin from ABM Inoculants. Anyway, he came out, he looked at them, and he was like, dude, I hate to be honest with you. That field is never gonna put any pods on it. It's never gonna do anything. It's forage, you might as well chop it for forage for cattle. And then I had another guy come look at it, told me the same thing. That pissed me off.
Sure.
And I'm like, okay.
Okay.
All right, let's see. So I did some talking with Corey. I did some talking with some other guys. And I put on a few products and I tried to reverse the problem. And now I ended up with this crazy plant that's branched out like crazy, had a ton of pods on it. Then we had a tornado come through.
Yeah.
And it blew it all down. I mean, tore the shit out of it. So at the end, I threw my hands in the air and I'm like, I'm done, I'm out, I'm not touching it anymore. But I still think that they'll make some a decent pull there. And I'm still gonna make the pull there.
Absolutely.
And I'm gonna try it there as well. The field that we're in now is not a crazy intensive management that I would call as crazy as what I did at my house.
Yeah.
It's crazier than anybody else has done anything.
Yep.
And my ROI, if there was a contest on ROI, I am losing.
Yeah, oh, no.
I mean, I'm not even on the stage with them boys. I'm in the audience. Like, it's bad. I'm not in the groove at all. Copperhead concaves, to me, are the only way to go. This is a real return on our investment. And when we went to these, we took an automatic increase all the way to 5,300 bushels an hour, which is incredible. Sometimes we don't have enough truck to keep up with what this combine can harvest. Use less horsepower, less fuel, and did a better job cleaning. It's second to none.
I'm very fortunate that I've been working with Concept Agritech now for 4 years. We have 12 Concept Agritech plots out right now. We feel like we're picking up some pretty good bushels.
Oh, here's one of their flagship products here. This is their Cowboy product. It's their calcium boron premix. They do have a great line of products here. Man, this is like drinking water. I think every crop needs a gallon or two of it. It's just, it does that much for you.
And then drive over to Augusta, hopefully do a winning plot for Podfathers. So, anyway, let me do a little piloting here. And here we go. Well, I think we're about 95, we're actually 93.4 miles out, so we'll be there shortly. As you can see some rice that's been harvested. You can see the tracks of the combines and the grain carts. Alright, so we're about 10 minutes out. We'll go ahead and begin our slow descent. And we made it. And we're going to get spun around here and shut her down.
So we got an interesting project right here. We're leveling some fields. With the pivot, we lose so much, our dry land corners, we just lose so much yield there. So we're taking this, we're leveling this, taking it to grade with the help of Rainbow Land Levelers and Terrell Fowler, and he's been doing work for me for, I don't know, 6 or 8 years.
Yeah.
And consider him a good friend. So we're taking a 207 acre field and turning it into 3 fields. And now it'll be furrow irrigated, which hopefully will be more efficient and even increase the yields. With pivots, you're only kind of 75, 80% irrigated in fields, and now we'll be 100% irrigated, so our yield should go up quite a bit. They got 4 machines out here today. They've got 5 working on me. A couple days ago they had 8. So it's quite impressive though, the big equipment, the high horsepower. Got the beans harvested, and now we tilled it just slightly so they could get in here and move this dirt and get these fields fixed. So Terrell, you want to tell us, you kind of see in the background what we're doing.
Yeah.
Cuts in the fields and just a big algorithm, I guess.
It's kind of what it is. I mean, we got it split up into 3 different sections, like what Perry said. We use the WM Form Ag technology there, Trimble, what Trimble has. So anyways, we use that, all GPS, RTK, and all the tractors have got machine control on all of them. And so it's pretty neat, you know. I mean, the technology's went a long way since we very first started. I mean, years ago when my dad started. So, I mean, a lot more efficient with the dirt and everything. So just, you know, able to do a lot better job.
30 years ago, I guess he was using lasers.
Yeah, lasers and yeah, just.
And before that, they actually used
the transit.
A transit.
Yeah, and different things.
And
like
got
that.
elevations, and I think they put stakes in the ground and then mark them with different colored paints, whether it was a cut or a fill.
Now this here's made it a lot more simpler.
So now he can take this truck, which is equipped with all kinds of equipment, and drive across the field and then split it up and put in all the parameters and make adjustments so it's efficient or more affordable for me, and just makes more sense. So we're putting a fall in this field.
Yeah.
So the high side of the field, which would be to the east against the road.
10th. It's falling to the 10th to the west.
A 10th to the west.
Yeah.
So every 100 feet going east to west, the elevation will drop a 1/10 of a foot, or 1.2 inches.
Yeah.
Gravity starts working for us then.
Yeah.
The water, we'll put the water in at the top side of the field, and it'll run down our furrows and irrigate the whole field.
And then on the bottom we'll have a tail ditch.
Yeah.
To make it run back
to take the water out. At some point in the future, we didn't really talk about that. We might design something, what they call a tailwater recovery system, to catch the runoff water and use it somewhere else. To be more
definitely
eco-friendly.
Yeah. This screen here is in all of our equipment. All the tractors got the same screen, the TMX screens in them. And so then they're looking at exactly the same thing that I'm looking at. So everything's real time. So the cut feels all real time. All the red, that's, you know, that indicates all the cut. You got your blue, and that's, of course, is your hole. And you can see down through here the elevation. You got some green, which that's, you know, that's the grade, so forth like that. And which you can zoom in, and just kind of, you can only do so much on this, but as you're moving, the screen itself is moving with you. So anyway, so everybody can kind of see what's going on.
This project's long overdue. This is a really nice field, and this should make it nicer. So looking forward to the final results, thanks to the help of Carol and Rainbow Land Levelers. Anyway, you need to go work on that?
Probably need to go look at it there.
Okay, we'll get out of here.
Okay.
Talk about it. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, we can.
And peanut harvest is underway in Gregory, Arkansas. Matt Swanson's here, and this is his crop. I know essentially nothing about peanuts. So 5 or 6 days ago, he had a machine in here that rolled up the plants.
Yep.
And they've dried for 5 days,
It's almost
6
a week
days.
now, yeah.
Okay, close to a week. They've dried for a week. And now here's the peanut combine in the back.
Yeah, so these are 30-inch peanuts. So we, of course, planted them. It's a very slow process planting them. And then essentially, we treat them a lot like soybeans, a non-GMO soybean between then and now. They look good. We haven't even got enough harvested to know really what they're yielding yet. So, but it seems like anyway, if we do the rough math, that they're at least pretty decent. So hopefully.
Well, at the end of the day, it's the average that counts.
That's right.
So,
and if
what's the moisture on these? I mean, educate me. I mean,
so these peanuts we're guessing about 20%.
Is that acceptable or is that still green?
That's over. So the trade moisture on peanuts is 10.5.
Oh, wow. Sure, on beans, it's 12.5, 13.
12, yeah. So, and they want us to start essentially at 15 if we can run them. So we'll probably finish this trailer load to get everything set, and then we'll probably sit another day or so if it doesn't rain and start back in. So we've got 2 types of peanuts here. One type is a high oleic, which is what these are. And if I remember correctly, those are like candy bar type peanuts. Chocolate sticks on them better, things like that. And then we've also got a non-high oleic, which is used more for processing. So.
Interesting. I knew you had several different types, but I wasn't sure what.
Yeah, so typically, even the largest peanut guys I know are growing 1,200 acres, and we're at a little over 600 now, so we kind of jumped in with both feet, which has been
got your feet wet.
It's been a process. It's kind of been a crap show some days, but it looks like it's going to work out anyway. So.
Well, I think that we've got a little chance of rain tomorrow, but if we get through that, after that we've got another big window. So.
Yep.
Peanut, from what I've noticed, nothing about the peanut is fast.
Yeah.
Planting.
At most, we're hoping to get 60 acres a day harvested.
That's with 2 machines.
2 machines. Yeah.
The reason I was interested in peanuts are naturally resistant to nematodes. And these fields, these sandy fields, have a lot of root knot nematodes. So the idea is we plant peanuts, we eliminate our nematode population. Maybe not 100%, but certainly enough where we can get back in here for the next 4, maybe 5 years and raise soybeans and corn without any issues. Maybe eventually the nematodes won't be such a nemesis.
Kind of the biggest challenge with the peanuts here anyway is weed control. I mean, they're essentially a non-GMO crop, so you have none of your over-the-top options that we have in soybeans here. And
yeah, I mean, this is ground zero for resistance.
Yeah, these are going to average about $500 a ton before drying and stuff like that. So if you make good peanuts, it's pretty competitive with anything else.
It's been a joy. But I think these guys need to get back to work.
Yeah.
The peanut harvest is not fast.
It's not fast.
They need to, every inch they can cover, they need to get it done.
That's right.
So we're in the field, combine's running. We got to do a few more measurements because we got to do a total of 10 acres. And of that 10 acres, we're going to isolate 3 for our 3-acre plot. The field has been squared up. It's 1,320 feet long. We got to figure out how wide it takes to get our 3 acres and then our 10 acres. So here's our field. They're a little tall. I said they were chest tall, so there's my sternum, so that's about where they are. 20 nodes, some nice clusters at the top. 4.8 maturity. Planted about 135 pop. Our stand was closer to 115 to 120, so we're harvesting 115 to 120,000 plants. Seed size, I don't feel like our seed size has been very nice this year. The yield's been good, but we've suffered in seed size. I'm not seeing it in test weight. I mean, our test weight's still, I never can get to 60, but it's 57 range, 56. But yeah, again, nice plods. This is on 15-inch rows, planted with DB60 planter. The moisture on these, when we take them to the granary and get the final moisture, it should be around 12.5 to 13.5, I'm guessing. They're ready.
Where do you like to harvest them out?
Above 13.5 to 15, so they're a little drier than I like to harvest, just because we're gonna have some shattering. So from the combine seat, we'll be able to hear and see the beans actually popping, hitting the glass. And nice field, it's done well for us in the past, so hopefully it'll do good for us today. All right, so now the all important measuring tape to get our acres right. We're going to do a little math and get this figured out so we can get on the combine and cut our 3 acres and 10 acres. All right, so we got Benny Laudering. Am I saying that right? Laudering from South Africa. This is his first year. He's a fine young man, and I'm not just saying that. I really appreciate him helping. He's always got a good attitude and just an all-around good guy. So he's gonna hold the tape. We've got this tape right here. So we've got to measure to get the 3 acres. We got to get 99 feet and go walk to that corner. You never know if if this is a better part of the block or that is. It's just, it is what it is. Hold on one second, man. Let me see where I am. All right, go a little farther. We got to go this way. Keep going. Oh. Ooh. All right, there's our 99 feet. All right, 99 feet right there. We're gonna stick that right there. Everybody agree that's 99 feet? That looks like 99 feet to you, Jared? All right, so our next one is 330 feet. All right, Benny, just stay right there. I'm gonna walk this time. So if I hadn't said it, this is pivot irrigated. Look at that, as long as the tape is. 330 feet. All right, so now we got 3 and 10. All right, you can let go of it. Well, the little knob's broken off of it, so I gotta reel it up the old-fashioned way, I guess. I'm breaking a sweat reeling this thing up. We're doing about everything we can. I mean, we plant good seed, use good quality seed treatments. Our fertility program, we use a lot of poultry litter for a full spectrum of nutrients. Our soil sampling, tissue testing. We know what in the plant, we know what the plant needs. You know, I don't feel like we go overboard. Timing is always an issue. We get the timing right, and everything else seems to just fall into place. Am I going to make 130, 40, 50, 60, 100, wherever the world record is, 172 bushels maybe? No, but it's the overall average that pays my bills. It's not just one record yield or one record crop.
We want the bottom canopy to be healthy with a good fungicide. We use Revitec on it. It's really going to help that bean finish off strong.
But on our farm, we got to average a 6 bushel better with the Revitec fungicide than any other fungicide.
Probably absent of disease just because we've got the Revitec out here, but just mainly for the plant health.
The one thing that is a must, that's this product right here. Reducing stress adds bushels.
We got some Monty's product. We use it in a lot of other crops. It's a changer. Monty's.
That's what our carbon and the AgroSuite is doing, is breaking down that phosphorus that's in the soil and making it available to these plants, and it's showing.
We focus on things that complement soil biology, things that complement soil health.
Monty's liquid carbon, it just keeps giving back.
go weigh them, and then we'll come back and dump them and go weigh them again. I loaded the dump truck first, then Dad's. Yeah, I loaded that first, then Dad's, and then the freight liner. We cut some beans. They look pretty good, a little dry. It's November 10th. We're cutting some beans today. Moisture's really dropped. I think they're running 10%. Going back to get the weights on all three of the trucks that we loaded, and then going back to cut some more beans. Oh, it's beautiful tonight. I don't know, 60 degrees today. A little windy. Yesterday it was pretty windy and beautiful day. We haven't had a frost. We had a couple frosts earlier, but we got lucky and didn't get them, so we could get on fields early. Wait to see what the weights are, and hopefully everything's good. We're gonna head back to the combine. I gotta cut another load for the morning. They're heading to Frederick to drop these beans off. Gotta get them done. We got a bunch more corn we gotta get on and try to get done soon. My problem is I gotta remember where the pivots are, because if I'm not paying attention, I'll run right into one. That'll wake us up. See, my problem right now is I am on an angle, and my auger will get stuck in him. Hang on a second. I need to get, there's a ravine right here, it is. I need to get out of this. One of our biggest problems is getting the equipment from farm to farm. We fight with a lot of bridges that are too narrow. We got to go up logging roads, single lane roads. It's just, it can be a challenging nightmare, but we get through it. Sometimes we have to go through the river, try to do that when the river's down. So, one of the things we've learned, I had problems with it last year too, but how difficult it is to irrigate soybeans and at what stage and what time. That's something that I think everybody fights with. When do you turn it on? When do you want to stress them to make them push pods? You know, you don't want to make them lazy. So that's a challenge that I've had for the past 3 years with beans on under pivots. We learned some this year. So next year will be interesting. We're going to change a few things, and hopefully we'll be more precise, and we'll get better irrigating beans. As far as the corn, we got that down pretty good. We've had the best corn yields we've ever had so far. We've only done maybe a quarter of the corn. We still got a lot more to go. Trying to get these beans done. They're dropping moisture bad. So we're gonna cut these, get these done. We got a lot of cover crop to get in the ground, and hopefully the weather holds off and stays dry a little longer.
It's been a pretty smooth harvest, so knock on wood that we can keep everything rolling here. One of the bigger reasons this harvest has gone so much smoother is, we got two Fendt T9s over there. They've just been pumping the grain. And we're actually producing more bushels than what we have in the past. They don't lack for power, that's for sure. I've been very pleased with everything.
Copperhead concaves, to me, are the only way to go. This is a real return on our investment. And when we went to these, we took an automatic increase all the way to 5,300 bushels an hour, which is incredible. Sometimes we don't have enough truck to keep up with what this combine can harvest. Used less horsepower, less fuel, and did a better job cleaning. It's second to none. We did a test one time, check this out. So if this doesn't say anything about copperhead, nothing will. I had half of my planter that were rubber wheels, and I had half the planter that were copperheads, and we planted beans. This wasn't corn because we had all copperheads on my corn rows, but I didn't know how they were gonna work on soybeans. So this was no-till soybeans, and I was like kind of skeptical. I was like, man, are they gonna close the row up together? Are they gonna pinch it too hard? A day and a half sooner, the copperhead rows were up. A day and a half.
You bet.
And because Dad had called me and he was like, what is wrong with that field? I'm like, what are you talking about? He was like, every other path is up. Like something's wrong. That wasn't it. It looked like every other path, but when I went down and came back, you know what I mean, it was twice as wide. So it was up, then the next wasn't up. Now, if that doesn't attest to copperhead, zero will. But I was running them for a year or two on my corn rows ahead of time, and I really, really liked them. But I never really ran them on my bean rows because we would take them off and we'd do a bunch of no-till beans. So we'd put a rubber wheel and a steel wheel on there to seal them in tight. So, and I was like, yep, this is what we're gonna do, especially when we were behind wheat beans, you know what I mean? Straw, all that stuff. I wanted to pinch them rows together. Well, after seeing that, we were like, we ain't doing that anymore. So we stripped everything off. So all 31 rows on the one planter and all 16 rows on the other planter, all copperheads. We don't run nothing else by them. All the rest of them, we took and threw them in the garbage. Well, we're back here, finish up the season. Back in 2000, and I think it was 16, we had a Class 8 combine. We bought a 16-row chopping corn head, and that combine wouldn't handle the amount of material that was coming in. So what we did is we kind of backed up and said, you know, what are we going to do to facilitate this problem that we had? We use our copperhead concaves mainly for our corn. And these particular concaves, they said that they would increase capacity by 60%. I didn't necessarily believe it at the time, but these things in corn are absolutely incredible. When we went to these, we took an automatic, I mean, right out of the gate, increase all the way to 5,300 bushels an hour. Used less horsepower, less fuel, and did a better job cleaning. I thought it was a home run, but you're also sitting here looking at these concaves have done over 20-some thousand acres. Just these concaves. That's just corn. Basically what we did is we turned a Class 8 combine into a Class 9 or a Class 10 combine, and we saved fuel. That's huge. But the investment and the return on your investment is substantial. Like 1 year's time, you've paid it off between fuel cost, timeliness of harvest, grain quality. It's second to none. This is a time saver. This is a real return on our investment. Copperhead concaves, to me, are the only way to go. I don't know what I would have done without finding this product. One of my sisters runs a hugely successful farming operation north of here, 20 miles north of here, and it's all over the place. I hope that one of my daughters, one of them's a dentist, the other one is Madeline, she's younger, and she wants something to do with agriculture. And if you take my two sons, them wanting to farm, maybe Madeline wants to do something with cattle, maybe they can all work together and maybe they all bring strong attributes to the table, and they all have certain things. And I've said it before, especially with our family, what we try to do is make sure everybody stays in their lane. Not saying everybody needs to be put in their place, I'm just saying everybody's strong in an area. It's very important that you that you strengthen them by letting them stay in those areas. That's what makes you successful. And then when you bring everything together, that's what makes it work. So that's kind of how we think about our future. And at the end of every harvest, we wrap it up. I think those things. That's what our next goal is. That's what our next step is. So having said that, it's been a great year. I can't wait to see how we all ended up. All of us are dying to know what our placement is, and none of us actually know where we sit. Some of it is to the bomb score. Some of it is, some people want to say that I'm a sandbagger and I don't really want to talk about my real true yields, which is true to an extent. But my father always said, why talk about your yields? Because talking about them doesn't really make you any money. He always kept that stuff really close in his pocket. He never really talked about it. So there's some of that that bleeds out in me. So I don't know if it's a sandbagger or, you know what, I am sandbagging. There's no doubt about it. I do sandbag terribly. You can ask Matt that. He calls me sandbagger all the time.
See how stringy it is? It'll wrap around the rotor. So that's what you gotta be careful of. It doesn't like flowing through anything. You can plug a combine really easy with these vines.
Every year is different, and soybeans are such an incredible animal. They're a relentless animal. They fascinate me learning how they act and how you can manipulate that plant to be something that it was never really bred to do.
One of the best ones is Temple. It has helped guide me to where I'm going.
And we plant good seed, use good quality seed treatments. We know what's in the plant, we know what the plant needs. You know, I don't feel like we go overboard.
When you can root for other people, you got a pretty good bond there. That's my 2 cents worth anyway.